Hi, and welcome to another episode of Piano TV. So today we're going to talk about chords and pretty much the two most important types of chords there are, major and minor chords. And we're going to learn how to differentiate between the two and how to just figure it out on your own without any knowledge of theory. So we're going to do this all by ear for now, and all the theoretical details will come later once you have a bit more of a foundation in scales and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get started. Alright, so what is a major chord? So if you've been following the last several videos, you've learned a couple already, like C major, and F major, and G major. So right now what I want to do is look at what these chords all have in common. So when I play C chord in root position, it's called root because it's kind of like this chord's home base. If you look at the bottom note of this chord, it's a C. So this bottom note is going to tell you what the name of the chord is. So the bottom note's a C, so this is a C chord. So if I play an F chord, you'll notice it's the same shape. Bottom note's an F, so it's an F chord. And then G chord in root looks like this. G is the bottom note. It's a G chord. So take a look at this shape because they all have this 1, 3, 5 shape in common. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So see how there's kind of a gap between each of the three notes? If you notice when I play F chord in root position, it also has that shape with the gap between the two, the 1, 3, 5. And G chord, same thing. Now, this is important because there's different ways to play every chord. So going back to C chord, C, E, and G are the three notes of C chord. You can rearrange these notes. So maybe you take the C and you move it up to the top. So this is still a C chord. It still has a C, E, and G, but now E is the bottom note. And it's not an E chord, it's a C chord still. But if you look at the shape, it's completely different. There's a bigger space. It's 1, 3, 6 instead of 1, 3, 5. So in order to figure out what the name of a chord is, you have to rearrange the notes until they assume root position, that 1, 3, 5 shape. And then you can look at the bottom note and figure out what chord it is. So now let's shift our discussion to the sound of a major chord, or the tone of it. When I play various major chords, you'll notice they all have the same overall tone or mood to them. So what kind of mood comes to mind when I play them? I want to give you a moment to come up with your own associations before I just, unload all of my own associations on you. So I'll just play a few random ones. So to me, major chords sound bright or happy or positive. Those are all keywords that I associate with major chords. Now let's talk about minor chords. So I'm going to play a C minor, F minor, and G minor, and listen to the difference between the major and the minor versions of these chords. So here's a C major. Bright, happy, la-di-da. There's a C minor. F minor. G minor. So if you've been kind of watching my hands here, you'll notice that to make a major chord minor, you only have to change one note. So here's C major. It's the middle note that changes, and that's the difference between a major and a minor chord. So to make it minor, you slide it down a semitone. So now instead of C, E, G, you're playing C, E flat, G. Same with the other ones. F major, slide that middle note down to an A flat. Slide that middle note down to a B flat. You just lower it a half step. So now I want you to listen and just listen to the mood. And again, I want you to form your own associations for what the mood of a minor chord sounds like. Because then when you try to pick them out on your own, it'll be a lot easier. So I'm just going to play some minor chords and just think of your own mental associations. So to me, they sound like dark or mysterious or somber or sad. Those are all things that come to mind when I play minor chords. So now that you know the difference in sound between a major and a minor chord, you can start figuring out any chord you want really, but I'll help you with a few first. So I'm just going to pick an A. Let's figure out an A major chord. So the first thing I'm going to do is get that 1, 3, 5 shape. So here's 1, skip 2, 3, skip 4. So I'm going to play this, and I want you to listen and tell me if you think this sounds like a major chord or a minor chord. If you said minor, you would be correct. And in order to make a minor chord major, you kind of just do the reverse motion. You take that middle note and you slide it up. And woohoo, now we have our happy A major chord. So let's do a couple more just to practice that. So I'm gonna pick D as a starting note now. And I'm gonna get the 1-3-5 shape. Play that. That sounds like D minor. I wanna make a D major, so I'm gonna move up that middle note. Now I have D major. Let's do a weird one. Let's do E flat. Okay, so E flat, skip F to G, skip A to B flat. Here's my 1-3-5, there's my E flat major. If I want to make this minor, just move that middle note, and now I have E flat minor. So just a quick note on how chords are written in shorthand. So if you just see a letter, like a single letter like that, and nothing else beside it, assume it's a major chord. So like that would be C major, that would be B major, etc. So if it's a minor chord, it's going to be indicated by a lowercase m after the main letter. So that's C minor, that's B minor. Okay, so here's the fun part. We're going to do this, we're going to do an ear quiz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 10 chords, and I'll like have a video of my hands playing them. And I want you to listen and see if you can figure out by ear if the chord is major or minor. And I want you to write it down so you can, check your answers at the end and see how you did. So listen if it's major and minor. And for like extra bonus points, if you watch my hand and where I'm playing, see if you can figure out which specific chord it is, okay? Okay, so ready, set, and go. All right, so now you can go off by yourself and figure out some chords on your own. So if you type in like Taylor Swift chords or whatever into Google, you can maybe figure out what some of those chords are by ear, which is a very handy life skill to have. Without further ado, thanks for watching this video. As always, you can subscribe and visit the website pianotv.net. All right, take care.